Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gold Coast edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name is Darren. Welcome to lockdown. I hope you're all staying safe out there. It's been a quiet weekend, particularly in the Gold Coast Premier League. It's just one match on the weekend, but we do have some guests to have a chat. We've got Nathan Mulhearn, who's the coach at Robina.
Good afternoon, Darren.
And we've also got Tom Sutton, who is the Senior Men's Coordinator at Tweed United. G'day, Tom.
How you going, Darren? Thanks for having me.
Yes, no, thank you for stepping up at the last minute. And yes, hope you enjoy your debut.
Thanks.
All right, so let's start with the Gold Coast Premier League. And Nathan, there was just one match on the weekend that you actually went to, and it was Surfers Paradise against Broadbeach. Surfers Paradise, comfortable 5-1 winners. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, I think that is correct, that it was comfortable for them. First half, it was Broadbeach were doing quite well. Sort of just towards the end of the first half, they had a few lapses in concentration and Surfers punished them. I think then second half, Broady come out with a little bit of freedom it was second half was probably quite even. I think it might have been 1-1 second half. At 4-1, Broady were looking okay. They score to go 4-1 and then Surfers go bang. Like 30 seconds after they've scored, they make it 5-1. Obviously that sort of ended the contest, I suppose. But I think Broady will be buoyed by their second half. And Surfers, will look to go, it's another 3 points in the bag and they march on.
They do march on. As mentioned on the show last week, I actually saw Surfers Paradise against Palm Beach a couple of weeks ago. And the thing that impressed me most was just their absolute quality. You could see that Palm Beach were a young, dogged team, but just lacked the smarts that Surfers Paradise clearly have. What are the qualities of the Broadbeach team? What do they have? What do they bring to the table?
Look, I think they're well organised. Jamie's a good coach. It's his first year at this level, but he's obviously got some structures that he likes to put in place, and look, they've got a couple of weapons around the place. But look, I think they're just a team that go out and have a crack and fight for everything. So look, Broadbeach, they're a solid mid-table team who may just sneak into the four if some results go their way and they can get on a bit of a run. But they probably lack an out-and-out goal scorer that the top few teams have.
And how did you spend the weekend off? I know that you went to this game, but did you have training sessions? Did you just say, guys, disappear and come back for training on Tuesday?
Yeah, well, our plan was we had a decent session Thursday, a bit of fun, bit of a competition, and we always have dinner on a Thursday night afterwards that the club puts on for us. And then, the plan was to come back Tuesday and have a solid session Tuesday. And then, Thursday was, again, going to be a decent session given we don't play till Sunday. Obviously, lockdown goes and ruins those. And then who knows, a bit of rain around, might be next week before we even get on the park again. So, we don't play till Sunday, so hopefully this rain can go away and dry out by Sunday.
So how did you cope with lockdown? Did you give the guys any homework to do?
Oh, look, they're all adults, mate. They just sent them a message telling them training was cancelled Tuesday and to get out for a few runs. So a few boys have got out, and we'll see what everyone's like for Sunday. I know middle of winter, season's been going since January for us, basically. Some boys coming in a bit late, so those boys will probably, you'd be hoping we're getting a bit extra in, whereas some of the other boys Like Trent Barwick's been playing injured for us every week. So the 2 weeks off for him has been a blessing in disguise.
So looking at the ladder, we see that win on the weekend puts Surfers Paradise back on top. Everyone's played 12 matches now. They're on 30 points, still conceding just 6 goals in those 12 games. That's just phenomenal. They're ranked second on 28 with Southport on 23 and Palm Beach on 20. With Broadbeach not getting that win or getting any points from that game, can you see anyone else moving into that top 4, Nathan?
Look, you never know. I think results, most teams, there's 8 teams that really can beat anyone on their days. So the likes of Musgrave and Burleigh, Broady, they can all beat each other. So Broady, you would think when they're doing their maths, they wouldn't be thinking they're going to go and get 3 points against Surface anyway. So they're probably in no different a place than they were before the weekend in their minds. So look, yeah, like I said before, they're a team that they're well coached and they go out there and have a crack. So they'll be looking to pick up points, and I suppose they've got to pick up points against the lower teams. They've already played Robina and Runaway Bays, so those games are gone for them now. So they have to pick up the points against the teams in and around them, as well as obviously they don't have Surface anymore, but picking up those teams. I think Burleigh are another one there that they could pick up a run of results and get close. They obviously have the team that pushes everyone. I don't think they've copped a hiding from anyone. It's just obviously a few things going right for them. A few boys maybe to come back, but sort of the season gets away from them, I suppose. Somebody like Matty Noble, who's struggling with a back injury. If that comes good by the end of the season, he would add massive weapons to them. But yeah, so look, the top 4, maybe it's set in stone, maybe it's not. But I'd say, there's 3 of those 4 teams that are guaranteed to be there. Maybe one misses out. Who that would be would just depend. I think Palmy are coming good at the right time of the year. Nerang, they've been up there all year. I think they'll continue to stay there. Their only worry is their depth. Not in quality, because I think their resis are top of the league. It's just a matter of them having enough players each week to put out there.
That top tier talent?
Well, not even that. They've just got a thin squad. They're spread. They don't have an under 18s to pull up to their resis in terms of they've got a Coast League team. So they're actually registered as different clubs, basically. So you can't take any players from there. Southport, again, their resis are up there as well. So they've got players to fall back on if they get injuries and suspensions. But obviously a few of their top line players are the key for them. Maybe I've just answered the question and said the top 4 is what it is, unless barring injuries and suspensions. Sorry, Broady.
Let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. So, as mentioned, on Sunday you're taking on Palm Beach. But the other matches are Surfers Paradise against Southport, Kingscliff against Nerang, Musgrave against Runaway Bay, and Burleigh Heads hosting Broadbeach. Which games stick out for you there?
Surfers Southport obviously is a big game there. I think if you look at the last time they played, it was 0-0. Southport just basically went out and did a job, just defended. And to be fair to them, they did a great job of it and had a chance to steal it late on, or a couple of chances. Morgan Saunders hit the post from memory. So it'll be interesting to see how Southport approach that one, because I've got a feeling sides would be, the surface side would be a little bit different to what it was that day. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works out and whether Southport go with the same ultra defensive mindset or whether they look to play a little bit. Palm Beach showed the other week playing a little bit that you can have some success as well. So it'll just depend, I suppose, on what they've got available and how Steve approaches it. I mean, Southport won't take any unnecessary risks, but they might set up a little bit differently to last time.
Kingscliff hosting Nerang. That looks like a banana skin for me.
Yeah, so I think Kingy beat Nerang earlier in the year, so that was a bit of a shock at the time. And I think apart from surface, that's the only loss that Nerang have had in the league. So I think, definitely will be a close game. Nerang might just be too strong, but down at Kingy, you never know.
And how are you going to take on Palm Beach?
Look, to be fair, we only lost 2-0 to Palm Beach when we played them last, and maybe we got them, as they were building into their season and still angry about losing 3 points and, not being at full strength, and we rode our luck a little bit. So, look, we're a different team to them. So hopefully we can play on Sunday and we can go out there and, reverse the result at home, hopefully. But as I said to you the last time I was on, I forever think that anytime you take the pitch, you're a chance to beat your opponent. At the end of the day, it's 11v11. And we'll go from there. We had a positive outing against Kingscliff last time we played, losing to a 90th minute goal with only 10 men, finishing with 10 men after a send-off that was never a send-off. Boys reckon the second goal was offside too. So we were gutted after that. And it's a different gutted to being smashed. It's gutted in a game where you should have got something out of, and you worked hard enough and played well enough to get something out of it. So, look, plenty of upside of us, and with 6 games to go, we're confident we can get some results.
All right. Let's turn our attentions now to the Coast League, and Tom will bring you in. Firstly, Tweed United playing in the Gold Coast Premier League. How's that work out for you, Tom?
For Tweed United, obviously, as you know, Darren, we were in the Premier League previous years. First year 2 years ago, 2018. It was a difficult year for us, and then leading into the next year, 2019, was the year that we got relegated. So, it's probably still a little bit sore for Tweed United. So I think at the moment it's just about rebuilding, and we started that last year. We really wanted to focus on the culture that came through at the club, and I feel like we've really done that throughout this year. So that's probably my feeling on it, Darren. It's probably a couple of years off.
Is there a state of origin feel every time you take the pitch against the Queensland teams?
What's that? Sorry, Darren?
Is there a state of origin feel every time you take the pitch?
I think that's a feeling we get with any team we face. We've played Kingscliff in the past, and they're a local club to us, and it's probably even heavier. But any team we face, it feels like a state of origin game for us. So
just on that, I know that Kingscliff, they're probably the nearest club to you, is that right?
Yeah, Kingscliff and then Palm Beach, yeah.
And then Palm Beach, okay. Is there a derby there is a derby atmosphere when you play those games?
Yeah, I think especially for Kingscliff, over the many years throughout the Coast League, and Nath probably knows this as well. Nath had a lot to do with Tweed getting promoted back in 2017. There was huge rivalries between Kingscliff and Tweed, and it stemmed quite deep. If any players kind of moved between those clubs, it was all-out war. So, yeah, there's definitely that feeling for sure.
Yeah, we love it, love it. And my question, from a Brisbane boy, why do you play in the Gold Coast Premier League and not the Northern New South Wales League?
I think it's so close. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Tweed, Darren, but it's just so close to the Gold Coast. And I think Tweed being such a huge catchment area, I like to say we like to compete in a Gold Coast Premier League versus Far North Coast on the New South Wales there. So I think, having such a big catchment, it enables us to actually do that. I'd say that's why.
And you don't cop any grief from Football New South Wales?
Not really, no. I know Kingscliff in the past have done both. They've had teams in the Far North New South Wales comp and also in the Gold Coast Premier League. Gold Coast leagues. All
right. Let's get to the football. And last week you had a 3-0 loss against Mudgeeraba. Tell us about that game.
That's probably the one that hit us the most, to be honest, Darren. It was quite a special day for us. We had a fundraiser day for one of our guys that played for our reserves that went into a coma. So we had a fundraiser day that started the whole day. Starting off the day with our reserves winning into the first, it was, we took it quite heavily, to be honest. The boys were in the sheds after, and we all kind of sat around for a good half an hour in the sheds. So it was quite hard, but I mean, the game itself, it started pretty slowly, to be fair. We had a lot of chances. They kind of snuck a goal pretty early. I think it was within 5 to 7 minutes of the game starting. I reckon
it was earlier than that, Tommy.
Yeah, probably was.
2 minutes.
Yeah, about 2 minutes in. And that kind of rattled us. And we had high hopes for this game because we just came off a loss, a pretty hard loss from Tally. So I think we had high hopes for the game, and to go 1-0 down a couple of minutes in was pretty heavy. And then, like I said, after that, we kind of showed up, and the problem was we just couldn't finish any of our chances. We had about 3 or 4 chances in a row, and to be fair to Mudgee, they gave it to us. They were on the whole game. So as the game went on, we both settled into it, and they unfortunately scored 2 more goals, but it was quite competitive the whole way through. Hats off to Mudgee. They finished it off.
Looking at the other fixtures last week, Legends and Palm Beach had a 4-4 draw. Nerang 6-2 over Ormo, Musgrave 5-1 over Runaway Bay, and Tambourine Mountain against Pack Pines was postponed. Looking at this ladder, Tallabudgera on top on 36 points, a 7-point gap now over Mudgeeraba, who've moved up into second place with that win. They've come from nowhere.
Yeah, they're on a winning streak. I think the team to watch. I'd be a bit worried if I was Tally when it comes to Mudgee. I know that Nerang's also kind of coming through as well. I think those two teams, apart from Tweed, obviously, are the two teams, to be scared of if I was Tally, because I know Nerang have really kind of gone through and they're putting big scores on. They've even passed us on the ladder. You're probably about to talk about that, Darren, but I'd be worried about those two teams.
You're in 5th place. Is the club enjoying the competition this year? You feel it's the right move to how the two comps have been structured? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, we're at 5th at the moment, but I don't think we'll stay there for too long. We've just had 2 losses in a row. I think, having 2 tough teams, but I think we'll creep back into the 4. I think Legends will slide out of that 4. And nothing against them. They've done an amazing job, but I think it's coming into that injury part of the year, and they've got to have that depth to really strengthen their first grade squad. And you can see from some of the scores since we actually beat them, they've kind of come off a couple of losses and a couple of draws there. So to answer your question, I think the club is happy with where the team is at. I mentioned before about the culture. It's just been such a great lift this year, having that culture shift. Boys are enjoying it. We haven't had player movement at all, which we've had a lot of struggles and a lot of challenges in the last couple of years with player movement. So, and the boys are just enjoying themselves. So, to answer your question, we're very happy with where we're at. We'd like to end up around that second or third on the ladder mark to finish off the season.
Looking at this weekend's fixtures, Ormo are hosting Legends. You're playing against Pack Pines, Tamborine Mountain up against Musgrave, Mudgeeraba taking on Nerang, and Tullabudgera have Runaway Bay, Palm Beach have the bye. Pack Pines, do you have a history against that team?
I can see Nath on the screen there having a bit of a smile. Yeah, we do. And every time we play them, any Pack Pines that are watching at the moment know this as well, that we do also have a rivalry with them. And I think it stems from a bit of an unfortunate final series one of the years. I think it might have been 2016, Nath, if
that's correct.
Yeah. I think it stems from there where a couple of things, and they're pretty wild things, which I won't go into detail. But,
oh, come on.
Okay, I'll mention one. So it went to a penalty shootout, right?
It goes back before that, Tommy.
It does.
Remember the game on the Saturday, and Tweed were leading Pack Pines 2-0 or 2-1 or something, and the game got abandoned at half time because there was a massive deluge. Yeah. And then it went into what Tommy's about to talk about on the Saturday, on the Wednesday night with a replay.
Replay, yeah. So that's right. We did play the first game. It was 2-0 up. I think it was even close to the point where they couldn't call it, or whoever was winning would win the game. And they called it just before that, around half time. So, we had to come back on a Wednesday night. It went to the very end after extra time, went to penalty shootouts. And this is where the interesting thing happened. The penalty shootout, one of our keepers saved one of theirs, but the crowd yelled out before he kicked it, and the ref actually called it back because the crowd was yelling, making noise. So we were baffled by that. And then the next shot, he jumped off his line, and fair enough, it was probably a millisecond just before he shot, but every keeper would be doing the same, anyone watching. And he saved it, and then he said, "No, you've jumped off too early." Yet again, 2 saves that we had up our belt, but we ended up losing that game because of that penalty shootout. So it was quite hard, and it's, like I said, it stemmed quite deep, our rivalry with Pack Pines. So we'll feel that this weekend.
I think I know who we need to get on the show next week.
Yeah, you probably know.
Good stuff. All right. That's our review of the games. Nathan, I know that talking to you in the past that when Gold Coast United were in A-League, you were head of the Supporters Association. Is that right?
That's correct, Darren.
Yeah.
Don't know where this is going to go then.
I went to a few Gold Coast United games back in the day. Tell us a little bit about those times and the Gold Coast United that you see now.
Look, back then, obviously, being a younger guy and loving football and just wanting to, be a part of something that hadn't been around before. And, the A-League was a good ride. Plenty of things happened in that time. Obviously, well documented around Clive Palmer. And, just for that final year, I actually did some volunteering for the club and did a lot of match day stuff like tweeting the game and stuff like that. So just being a little bit behind the scenes and seeing how that club operated and the amazing people that made it operate on basically nothing. There's a skeleton staff, people just trying to make sure that a game of football was put on every week. some of the things that happened in that time around the Mitch Cooper being appointed captain, the freedom of speech across the front of the shirt, just crazy, crazy times. But look, it was a great ride while it lasted. Moving on to Gold Coast United that we see today. Look, it is what it is. They're an NPL club. They have strong links to the community. They're hopeful of a return to the A-League. They've got some backers ready to go who back some other football clubs around the world. So if that was to be the case, then, definitely I think it would be different a second time around. But obviously, it'd be great to still have a team in the A-League and have had that for all those years. But, I feel at the time, while it was disappointing, probably the FFA made the right decision at the time to call it quits and maybe have a go in the future sometime.
I remember going to games and I'd hang around the supporters, the active supporters.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there. He either had a T-shirt or a bandana or a sign, and he'd always be yelling out SBS. SBS.
Yeah, soccer, bloody soccer. So, David was his name. Quite a colourful character. He's just somebody that loved the game. He was an Arsenal supporter from memory. Look, and I suppose it gave people that weren't connected to the local game an opportunity to go to the football, who may have come from elsewhere and have no links. But plenty of characters and it was. I went to plenty of away trips and that sort of thing. I was lucky enough to go to National Youth League Grand Final, which was played before Victory Sydney. So Gold Coast United won that. And then that was the game where Kevin Muscat hit the post. It was. Look, plenty of memories from that time and plenty of good friends. And it did bring the Gold Coast football community together to start. People got sick and tired of all the drama that went along with it, I think, and came less and less.
Dave, if you're out there, get in touch. Get in touch, mate. We want to know what you're up to now. I'd love to do a where are they now about you. Tom, were you around during the Gold Coast United days?
Well, I wasn't. I didn't have as much attention at the time, but I was, when I was a bit younger, I was a Marconi supporter. So
wow.
Yeah, not much to do. Not like Nath. I've had a lot to do with Nath, obviously, and I've known his passion for Gold Coast United in the past. So not like that, no.
So what's the connection with you two?
I was at Tweed from 2013 to 2017, or it might have been 2013, 2014. I was there 5 seasons, Darren. I was there as a player, and then reserve grade coach, and then assistant coach the year for 2 years at the end. And when they got promoted, won the double and went to the Premier League. But that was 2017 was my last year there.
You know each other quite well then.
Yeah, I got some funny stories about Tommy. One being that when he arrived, I was coaching the reserve grade and we're watching him. We're like, who is this unfit guy that's just rocked up? He lasted about 20 minutes, I think, before he asked to come off in a trial game. But he's kicked a ball one day, and I can't remember if it was training or it was a game. It was like one of the first times he'd ever been down there. Yeah. If anyone knows Dennis Dodd, who was our coach there at the time, he's kicked the ball and it's hit Dennis from about 30 yards. And Dennis has just blown up. Who is this idiot? Why is he here? Somebody get rid of him. Luckily, Thomas didn't take too much offence and he's still there now.
I'm a pretty resilient person, but I remember that day. I think it was a trial game, and I kicked the ball and Dodsy's stuff just went everywhere, and he was pretty much sending me on my way with all sorts of different flavors of stuff coming out of his mouth. That's kind of how we bonded after that. So yeah, interesting.
And you stuck around.
I stuck around. Yeah, I had a lot of mates that kind of invited me back into the game. I had a couple of years off. About 4 years off, actually. Fell out of love from the game, and then joined back. I think it was 2014, and loved it again.
Good stuff. All right, I love to end the show with a story, and you've come up trumps. Well done. All right, thank you very much for tuning in today. That's another edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. We will see you guys next week.